So the Wheel of Positive Experiences is a tool that I love. It's one of my favorite things to do with people, and it helps people to access the good aspects of their life and some good and positive sensations and emotions that they can experience when they think and experience specific things in their life that are wholly positive. Now, I used to use this just as a way to create a safe resource for people to access healthy feelings and safe feelings for trauma, but I'm realizing that it also can serve as an assessment tool to assess the degree to which people can access positive things in their life. I'm finding that the window of tolerance isn't just their ability to tolerate negative things, but sometimes when people experience trauma, the positive things in life are also intolerable and they're unknown and hard to metabolize. So this helps me to figure out how much good they can actually experience without that beginning to feel wrong or scary. But what you do is you start by creating a target of sorts, like this. And then outside of that target, you plot specific things. I'm just going to do a couple here. Some things that are completely positive and result in just good feelings and good vibes. So I'm going to just do a couple of examples. One of them is my first marathon, when I crossed the finish line. Another one of these would be when my wife came down the aisle and when we got married. Another one would just be one of my favorite places to get coffee in Lynchburg is Golf Park. I think another thing that I love is when I watch my brother play music. Something else would be, let's see, sushi. My favorite movie is Inception. Somewhere that was incredible that I went was Mount Everest. And I have people identify as many as they can, but I'm only going to do a few. And then another one is, let's see, there's a sweatshirt that I have that makes me feel good. So now what I do after I've plotted these things out here is I go into the middle part and I connect an emotion to each of these things. So, for example, my marathon. When I think about my marathon, it makes me feel powerful and like there's a completeness about it. So I put powerful. Golf Park makes me feel connected. Partly because of the caffeine, but partly just because of the space. When I watch my brother Josh play music, that just makes me feel proud and joy. You can have more than one emotion. When I eat sushi, I just feel happy. You don't have to necessarily have like a really cool word or anything. You can just do happy. The movie Inception, I get wonder. It reminds me why I love psychology so much. So there's some passion connected to that too. Mount Everest is just awe. Like absolute overload of experience. Just could hardly take it. That sweatshirt makes me feel homely. Like I got nothing I gotta do. When I think about when my wife came down the aisle, I just feel loved and safe and joy. So those are the things. So now I've connected those specific emotions like this. Now in the middle, inside that middle surface, I kind of will say something to somebody like, now you realize that you have this list of different experiences and emotions that are completely good for you. And I ask maybe like, did you know that you had all these? And oftentimes they're like, I guess I knew I had them, but I just wasn't accessing them. And I ask them, if there is like, if you're going to file these things under a word or a phrase, what would that be? And that's what you put in the middle. So for this one, for me today, it would just be truth. These are grounding principles for me, and so that I equate that with the truth. And then what I have people do, specifically after they've created their wheel of positive experiences, I have them, I help them to kind of sit and utilize their bodies in kind of a somatic way and like say, okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to go back to that time when you were on Mount Everest and just sit back and take some deep breaths. And sometimes I have them do some tapping on their knees, just some bilateral stimulation, and just have them sit with that and kind of connect with that emotion. We're so used to just running away from the emotions that take us away from our window of tolerance, so I want to see how well they can connect with the positives. And then I allow them to basically think of something on a negative side, like a trigger, maybe on a scale of 0 to 10 at like a 4 or a 5. And identify what that is, identify how that emotion, or how that, whatever that negative thing that bothers them, how it bothers them, like where they feel it in their body, the emotions connected to it, maybe a belief that's connected to it about themselves, and just help them to access that. And then after I've kind of helped them to access that, I say, okay, so on the count of 3, I want you to say that word that's in the middle of your file of positive experiences, and then go back to focusing on something on that. So they're sharing the focus. So I say, okay, 1, 2, 3, truth. And I'm moving my focus away, or at least sharing my focus with whatever negative thing with Mount Everest and being there. And so I begin to kind of reach that negative area and begin to tolerate that negative area because I've brought something positive with it. If I can tolerate the positive, then I can begin to share that with areas of my life where it doesn't feel like goodness can be. So you help them, and then what happens generally is their distress will go down, they'll experience more calm and connection, and they might forget what they're thinking about, or they might not feel as keyed up in regards to those negative situations. So you just help them to do that.